Dragon Ball, horror, kaiju, and more. Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey there, collectors, it's going to be Steven here, and welcome to an interesting video today, where we're going to be taking a look at some sort of kind of not really Gashapon figures from Takara Tomy. You know, Gashapon, technically being Bandai saying not really, you know what I mean? So today we're going to be taking a look at two different sets. We're going to be taking a look at the Monster Hunter Rise Biological Encyclopedia. Yeah, that's pretty much what you're going to be taking a look at, or Endemic Life Encyclopedia, Volume 1 and Volume 2. So Volume 1 is going to have the Stinkmink, the Great, or normal, Wirebug, the Spiribird, the Gigana? I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, but go ahead. And the Clothfly. Whereas Wave 2 is going to have the Brewhare. It's going to have the Gust Crab. It's going to have the Lamp Squid, the Puppet Spider, and the Fortune Owl. Now, when I go to actually do the review, am I going to do that in the same order? Nope. But that's okay. So without any further ado, let's take a look to see whether or not they're going to be worth adding into your collection, and talk about a fun way you can win one of these two sets. It would just make sense to go in order. So let's talk about the first set. So first up, let's go ahead and talk about Set 1, Volume 1, Part 1, whichever. So in the promotional image, they show 5 of them things. So let's go ahead and let's talk about, in clockwise order, the Clothfly, because it's going to be the first one. So pretty reasonable to talk about here. Real simple, real easy. The details are rather nice. It is going to be gray and white, so my background and lighting, it is rather difficult to pick up all of the finer details, if you will. However, from what I will say, we do actually have them here. And we're going to go ahead and transition on over to the Gigana next, and that is going to come with a support stand as well, just like for the Clothfly. For the Clothfly, that one actually fits in the stand rather nicely, and there are actually going to be rather nicely sculpted details. And the Clothfly, I think, is a rather nice addition into Volume 1. For the Gigana, or the Giant Piranha, if you will, I think this one is actually going to be the not necessarily weakest of the bunch, but it's not going to be a very strong contender. Reason being is that, well, if you were to look at the prototype, we have some very nicely well-defined teeth, and you can tell that the stand is supposed to go on the underbelly for the first fin. And here, well, some of the details are kind of lost. It's not just a particular contrast issue or with lighting, and the fin, it actually seems, at least for the stand, is supposed to go towards the bottom. It doesn't really sit too well on the one that's closer to the face of the Giant Piranha. So yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer. It's still cool, but nevertheless, it is what it is. Also, it's not very cooperative with the 360 spin view. Now we do have the Spiribird, and honestly, taking a look at this thing, it's very easy to tell there is not a thought in that thing's head. It's very, very empty-headed here. Now, for these, I did open 2 of them things, and I have to say that the paint vary wildly between them, with one of them being relatively clean, the other just splotchy as all get out. And that is unfortunately an issue with both of these sets, and that is going to be quality control. Just simply put, we're going to go ahead and move on over to the Wirebug, or Great Wirebug, depending on how you want to splice things, which is going to come with a stand as well. A lot of the parts of this set, unfortunately, were not really well thought out. Don't get me wrong, a lot of it functions just fine enough, but like here for the Great Wirebug, or the Wirebug again, depending on who's holding it and what size, the cradle for it actually doesn't fit too well and led to this moment.
Out of like the apartment and have our own space. Oh man, I think this one is like busted somehow. What?
Yeah, so we do edge a fine line between what is okay and what may not necessarily be too all that great. And for the Wirebug, the metallic paint application, this is the strongest one out of the set, I believe. It does edge a fine line between what is okay for what is effectively only about, say, $5 or so, and what may not be all that great. Now we round this out with a stink mink, which is rather fixed in terms of sculpt. And that is going to essentially, that's essentially going to be it for part 1. So let's go ahead and move on over to part 2. This one features my favorite endemic life, and we'll go ahead and start with it, or hunting helper, the gust crab. The gust crab is amazing, and it does my favorite thing, makes you go up. So you just put it down and you get shot way up into the air. And unfortunately, where I purchased mine from, they decided to opt, despite the fact that I bought, the intention of having 5 complete sets, they only sent me 2 of these. Which is, awesome and dandy. Anyway, so the gust crab I think is really nice. It has great detailing on it. And I think even still, this is probably my favorite of all of these, followed up next by the Splatoon. Splatoon, it's not. No, it's not. Okay, so we have ourselves the lamp squid, which is made of pretty much entirely translucent plastic, with the only downside here being that we can actually kind of see where the parts are fit together. Now, you may say for the price, it's not too bad, but nevertheless, hey, this is really cool. The support stand for this one is kind of booty ass, and it will sometimes like to slide off. So that is something to keep in mind. I will say if you can get just a little bit of wax or a little bit of blue tack, that can help you with keeping the squib on the actual support stand in and of itself, so that way everything will be better. Now, speaking of support stands and stuff that don't need them, the owl. Very cool. This one I think actually has some great quality control, no real issues, but our little fortune friend here does come with a little bit of a brick base here, so this way I won't topple over, which is nice. And again, the quality control on the few that I've seen, because again, I did buy multiples, looks really nice. And then we do have our spider here, the puppet spider, which, okay, so in essence, you would think that this one doesn't need a support stand, but those little spidery leg bits, unfortunately, those like to give out, and they will cause them to go wide and weaken, and the big booty of the spider causes this one to tip back, so spider tipping. So keep that in mind if you do happen to get these, and, over time, you can't get your spider to stand up. Spider will tip. Last but least, the brew hair. Yeah, contrast on this one. Sorry, nothing I can really do, especially when putting this up against the promo image. Yeah. It's, if you like the brew hair, then congrats. It's a very static figure toy of the brew hair. You need a character who needs healing, kind of like I said, and not much else to say here. Hot pink. All right, let's go ahead and move on over to a size comparison so you can see how big these would be with some other figures and toys you might have. And this is going to be a good segue into pretty much wrapping this whole thing up. Buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Where these really excel at is sort of integrating them into sort of real life scenarios. You see Spider-Man holding the wire bug, and I think that's great because you can sort of have a gag, if you will, where you have a character who's using the wire bug to zip around, let's say, a battle arena or so forth, having Spider-Man shoot web, and it's actually going to be the wire bug. Or you're going to have Link using the Gale Boomerang, and it's actually a Gust Crab where he's getting some sort of support. I think that's pretty neat as well. Where these figures really do fall to the wayside is that, again, these are going to be made by Takara Tomy under their T-Arts or whatever line that they're going to call them, and they're 300 yen a piece, which is actually pretty cheap. That's not, that's not a lot of money. By current exchange rate, that's going to be about $2 or so. However, Bandai, with their Diversity of Life line for 500 yen, closer to like $4, they're able to put out fully articulated ants and beetles that are bigger than these. So here's kind of what I'm saying. These aren't bad. That's why I bought them. I like these. I wanted to get them. And for their purposes, I enjoy them. They're nice. They're just disappointing in terms of quality control, and they're fun. I like to have them. But when I'm holding a frog in my hand that's about the size of my palm, and it has a whole bunch of joints, and it looks just like the frog that they made a toy out of, versus a spirit bird that's got a whole bunch of orange on it where it shouldn't have orange on it. And the frog is not even 2 times the price of the Spirit Bird. What happened? These are good, but compared to what else is on the market, Tomy could do better. Or Takara could do better. Takara Tomy could do better. You know what I mean. Anyway, here's some details on the giveaway. The graphic designer for the channel, Yosemite Samantha, is going to be playing Monster Hunter Rise today, Sunday, March 5th. And if you are interested in winning, just head on over, check out her stream, check out to find out the details, which are basically just going to be head on over to her Discord server and lurk around and see what the more specific details are going to be. You have a chance to win either set 1 or set 2, volume 1, volume 2, whatever you want to call them. And the giveaway is going to go for pretty much the whole week. Also, as of note, the SH Monster Arts Mitsubishi Mitsusune is currently released, and a review will be going up as well. And maybe you're going to want to check out her hunts to see whether or not she's going to be hunting a few of those. And that's going to be about it. So let's go ahead and wrap the review up. Thanks for watching. Hey collectors, that's going to wrap up the video today. And as always, thanks for watching, commenting, sharing, subbing. It all helps. I always enjoy responding to comments, so be sure to drop one down below and I will respond if I can. I do have supporters on Patreon as well, and each review gets an end card to show who is supporting each month, so here are the end cards. Camera batteries, SD cards, even hard drives. It's not possible without that support, so thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Here's the final end card, so this way you can click subscribe, check out another video, or even check out the social media outlets. You know you want to. Before we end today, as in the description, there may be paid ad space, affiliate links, or product samples that were sent out in this video, so please check out the STR ad disclosure. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.